how it came out, but they were working with it. Absolutely, exactly what you're saying is correct.
Because that was a concern that we brought up in the past as well. And so I'll have to find, I'll ask Sheila.
So in terms of, you don't want to say the benefits, it's a lottery, you don't want to win.
Right.
But,
On
you
the
know,
job, then we
yeah.
should at least,
Yeah, I remember them discussing it. Again, we don't handle that part of it, but yes, I agree 100%.
Yeah, I'm not 100%, but I know that was a discussion, and I thought, for some reason, I thought HR told me that they instituted a policy.
Well, maybe it's just something that circle back and make sure that it's implemented. All right. Any other questions?
Yes.
Sorry.
Okay, so this capital outlay that I see throughout the whole budget, so I'm unclear what that is, and so that's something I'm trying to learn about. So, for instance, for this budget, if I'm looking at the right pages, what is it? It was 0, then it was 33,120. Now it's 600,000. What's going on here?
Okay, so through the chair, Councilwoman Grant has a question, and just for everybody's information too. So capital outlay is just an account, and what it means is it's defined as a fixed asset, right? So when you purchase a vehicle is a type of capital outlay. Equipment is a type of capital outlay. Purchase of a building is a capital outlay. So we define capital outlay as any item purchased that exceeds $5,000 and has a useful life of more than a year. So those items will be depreciated when you're for a different accounting method, but for our general fund basis, those are considered capital outlay items. So in the case of the police department, you have two kind of capital outlay accounts. You have the general capital outlay account where you see equipment and other items purchased out of, and then you have the vehicles, which are where you see the vehicles being purchased. So when you see the fiscal year 22 budget of approximately $596,000 for equipment and $465,000 related to the vehicles, that was related to the Tahoes that the chief purchased, and the other item, the 596, I don't have, I can't remember what that was. Chief, you remember this year?
Not at all, sorry.
We can get back
Yeah,
to me.
get back to you on that. I don't have the specific detail on it, but that's what it would represent, an equipment type item or a vehicle type item. It could be related to the outfitting of vehicles, things like that. So, but that typically when you see capital outlay or equipment or vehicles, when you see those line items, that's what you see there. And they're typically one-time purchases, so that's why you don't see them as ongoing operating expenses. They're typically one-time, so that's why you see the fluctuation in the amounts from year to year.
Is that true in all the throughout the budget?
That is correct. For the capital outlay accounts, which define them as you look at the account number, which is next to description, it's anything from 970 through 989. So.
Didn't we have Axon and all the drones and everything all
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that's where the expenditures came from. My wonderful lieutenant out of Mission over here has advised me that those two numbers you look at, the 596 and the 465, that just about covers the full purchase and outfitting of those 16 towers. So that kind of gives you an idea of what that's going to be.
The detail towards the back, I mean, that's one of the things, the Verizon SIM card for 30 modems, I mean, it's $13,000. Just, that's operating supplies, but then some of the other items it shows going into next year would be contractual services, IT, what's, the budget for the auxiliary police.
And it's on the top of the page.
Yep.
So as you can see, though, if we look at those accounts, the first account, now the chief has found out, so both accounts were related to the Tahoes, but the second account, the 465, that was the portion that was allocated to the ARPA fund. So that's why you see the last line item, the vehicle/ARPA grant. So that was related to the ARPA grant that we allocated the vehicle purchase. addition to the general fund, so resources for the police department, there's also forfeiture. So by statute, that the forfeiture funds have to be accounted for in separate funds. And what you see on that package I sent out yesterday is the city has 4 different forfeiture funds. We have the state OWI fund, which is the first fund. And as you can see, very little activity in there, but we do get a budget approved for that fund. I'm just going to go through these real quick, and then we'll go over questions on all of them. Of course, the next one is the Justice Forfeiture Fund, and all these are all different funds because they're different governing bodies, right? So this is a federal forfeiture fund that's related to the Justice Department. And as you can see in that item, our approximate fund balance is in the $550,000 range. Approximately $100,000 of that is related to the Drano/MNET. For the newer council members, MNET is a drug enforcement agency in the area, and whenever they receive forfeitures, they have to put their money somewhere. It used to be DCC. They can't do it through DCC anymore, so the city entered into a fiduciary agreement to hold their money. This was approved by council a few years back, and it's incorporated in this fund. And what the city gets in return is we get 5% of their forfeitures. So, but as you can see, $500,000 of fund balance, and approximately $100,000 of that is related to MNET. So that's not city money, that's MNET money. And again, we budget, with forfeiture funds, we can't budget. That's something that we haven't received yet. So that's why we always budget $50,000 for miscellaneous police equipment. And if there is a need for additional equipment that we can use the fund balance for, we go to council for approval for that change at the time that that request comes through. The third page in that item is the forfeiture related to the Treasury Department. So this is a federal forfeiture as well, but it's related to the Treasury Department, not the Justice Department. Again, just a different set of rules, but generally all of these forfeiture rules is that the money has to be spent on police services. As you can see on that one, the approximate fund balance is about $320,000 at the end of this fiscal year, and then we budget $90,000 next year, again, for miscellaneous police equipment. And then the last fund is the state forfeiture fund. Again, same concept, except this is related to forfeitures from state agencies. As you can see here, same thing, the fund balance is approximately $237,000, and then we budgeted $50,000 from that fund balance for next fiscal year. So the takeaway from all 4 of these funds is that they're all used for police services. So it gives the police department another resource to pull from, to use for equipment purchases, other eligible police activities. And I don't know if Chief wants to talk about the forfeiture funds as a general amount.
Yeah, just one thing just to clear up real quick. So the total amount we're seeing here in some forfeiture funds are those amounts that are presently sitting in those forfeiture funds?
That's item, yes.
Yeah, that is correct. This is money received. It's not the money that's been, dagged out, billed, right? If you want to explain that.
We have.
Oh, so that's physically available right now?
Yeah, you know that there's always money that's what's called promised to us. When our officers are working with these federal agencies and they become part of a seizure, each agency that's involved will receive some sort of percentage based upon what they're doing with this. Now it can be many years to adjudicate the case. So we could have $2 million out waiting to come to us. Are we going to get $2 million? Probably not. We don't know when it comes in. There's really no timetable. The restrictions that have been placed on are much more difficult now than they used to be. So I'm not sure I